Guillotine. Wow. Wow. Too easy.
Tonight, the name of the game has been survival. And the head of the table with enough instinct to preserve this matchup, but just barely, because Big E delivered the big ending, which, like the spear, has put down oh so many. But don't add Roman to the list just yet. Well, you're Big E, Corey. What do you do now? You just hit Roman Reigns with your big ending, your finishing move. What do you do now? Stay the course. Keep applying pressure. Don't relent. Don't allow the Universal Champion to recover. And Big E. Okay, Roman? Roman Reigns rolls out of the ring. Big E bouncing Reigns off the announce table. Driving Reigns into the ring post. Let's play game. Let's play game. Big E finding some spite late. And Big E now the mainstream coming out of the WWE Champion. Big E damn near put Roman Reigns through the barricade just now. Big E snapping, taking it to a higher gear. This is aggressiveness, Corey, that we didn't often see out of Big E. Here he goes. Roman is coming. Let's play a game. Let's play a game, he says. Now Roman able to tread over the stale steps.
Damn.
And the knee that was bothering E earlier in the matchup. Yeah, when he came down hard on the apron and tweaked it as he hit the floor. It's held up rather well for E to this point, but the steel ring stairs might have changed all that.
Good storytelling.
Of the Tribal Chief. Incredibly clever by the Tribal Chief. Reversing Big E and throwing him through the stairs. And Reigns off the steps. And now Roman Reigns trying to send the WWE Champion back into the ring. Reigns with a sense of urgency, but he already back up. And again, Roman Reigns slips out from behind, right to the bad knee.
That was like a super kick. Superman kick. Got him. Because of course Roman was gonna win this match, and it wouldn't mean nothing for the SmackDown. SmackDown was primarily for the night, but Roman Reigns gets to win. Love Roman. But if you're gonna do all that, that made no sense.
Champion Big E. But Roman Reigns continues to rule WWE. At 448 days, he's been Universal Champion. And tonight, he rules at Survivor Series.
think you can tell from look-wise, I'm kind of a little bit bored. Because really, after the first 2 matches on the show, Survivor Series really died down. And it was very much one of those kinds of shows that you expect is going to have something that's going to happen, or you think that some things are going to just equal up or just continue to go on as time goes by, but it just died down more and more and more as the show went on. First and foremost, Raw convincingly beat SmackDown. SmackDown won only 1 match on the show, and that was the main event. And then afterwards, it's like, my thought is, why continue to have a storyline about brand supremacy when every year we know who's going to win and we know who's going to lose? Every year, SmackDown is going to lose. SmackDown hasn't won brand supremacy ever since they started in 2005 and restarted it in 2016. Because bragging rights, SmackDown won twice. And it's like, why? Why continue to do these kind of shows if we know that the outcome is going to be, oh, SmackDown's just going to get their ass beat, but they're going to get a win because Roman Reigns is competing on the show? It happened in 2019. It also happened in 2020. And it happened in 2021. SmackDown has lost 6 straight years. And it was a sweep in 2018. The only time when they were close was in 2019. I'm basically going to use this review to just basically talk about how the dying breed of Survivor Series brand supremacy is and how it should not be used in the Survivor Series format ever again, because honestly, it's a waste of people's time. Because you pay... Survivor Series always has the expectation of it's going to be a battle, but some people expect at least 1 match or 2-3 matches for SmackDown to pull a win in. But WWE's consistently stupid booking ruins that for the show. For instance, Sasha Banks and Team SmackDown in the women's side versus Bianca Belair all by herself for Team Raw. It was 4-on-1. I'll be honest, I wasn't paying attention to that match, honestly, because my whole thing for the Survivor Series show in itself, my excitement, my energy level went down because, hey, I just know I know Raw won for the night, and they're not even really giving a damn about giving SmackDown at least a win. They didn't give SmackDown a win in the Battle Royal. They didn't get Charlotte a win versus Becky Lynch, which I understand. They didn't get SmackDown a win versus Raw in the men's traditional match. And they didn't give the Usos a win versus RK Bro, which I would have probably expected the Usos to honestly win if Roman Reigns is going to win. 4-on-1, though. And you book it like this. Team SmackDown implodes. For what reason? Egos. Which is stupid and so obnoxious. You are up 4-1 with an easy win, but the woman, consisting of Natalya, Shayna Baszler, and Shotzi Blackheart, stopped Sasha Banks from getting a pinfall or an easy win. They pull her out of the ring and cause her to get counted out. Which leads to Natalya getting eliminated afterwards, Shayna Baszler getting eliminated, and then Shotzi getting eliminated. Which led to Bianca, for some reason, I don't know why, having beaten 4-on-1, and she didn't even look close to as good as she probably would have months ago. Especially last year, when she was up against Nia Jax 2-1, and they could have done that, but they didn't, and decided to do it this year, which is so much more stupid because of how the hell it happened. 4-1. Oh, because Sasha Banks has an easy win, you pull her out of the ring. What kind of sense does that make? That's a win right there. At least add some excitement. No, just pull her out of the ring, and then the three great women just get pulled and just get beaten. Convincingly. Shitlessly. Shayna got rolled up. What kind of fucking decision was that? It's so upsetting and it's so dumb. So that's where I was like, I give up on the show. Because really, it all ended at that point. Every bit of joy that was going on throughout the show died in that match. The fans didn't give a damn that the Raw women were, and that the women were giving it their all, because the show concept was pretty much over, and the matches afterwards didn't have any heat except for the main event. The tag match didn't have no heat. The women's match didn't have no heat. The men's traditional match barely had any heat. The main event only had heat, and so did the beginning match, which was Charlotte versus Becky. It was a poorly booked show from the very beginning because they put so much focus in the crown jewel, because they put so much focus towards the draft, that they forgot to literally book the entirety of the show, that they just announced the teams on social media, changed it up, and then a week, days before the show, you didn't even have any compelling storylines to try to switch things up. You had nothing to try to switch anything up. For instance, championship matches, the tag titles, the mid-card titles, the women's titles, the world titles could have been on the line. The titles could have changed hands. You got top contenders on SmackDown. You got top contenders on Raw. For instance, you could have ran Roman Reigns versus King Woods. Sure, Roman would have won, but at least have something for fans to at least feel compelled to try to feel like they should be interested in the Survivor Series. Or for instance, have Seth Rollins versus Big E for the WWE Championship the night before Survivor Series. Nights before Survivor Series. For the title, like you did with AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal. Title would have changed hands. I honestly would have liked a better match with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins than Roman Reigns versus Big E. And there's no disrespect to Big E because he's great, but I just felt that there was really nothing towards it. And sure, you're changing the match in a small matter of time, but it's a match with history behind it. Years of history, from the Shield to the rivalry in 2016 to the rivalry up until the point where they just feel like the two biggest stars on their roster. Seth and Roman are the two biggest stars on Raw and SmackDown collectively. I don't care if it's Big E. It's not Big E. It's not Drew. It's nobody. It's nobody else. They're the two biggest stars on the company. Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. Charlotte Flair versus Toni Storm. You could have had a compelling match between two young, up-and-coming talents, and then the two veterans can honestly have a match in the show, just not without the titles, but okay, they're probably gonna win their respective matches, and the match is still gonna mean something. It's still gonna be the best match on the show, but hey, it's still gonna draw something. You could have had Street Profits versus RK Bro, or literally any other team versus RK Bro. I don't care. Austin Theory versus somebody. Or you could have ran Viking Raiders versus the Usos. Or Kofi Kingston and King Woods versus the Usos. Could have had that. Could have had a better, compelling match. Not to say that the tag match was bad. It just felt like it could have been better. The mid-card title match. That was on the damn pre-show. Shinsuke has not had a great run with the Intercontinental title. Damian Priest has had a solid run with the U.S. title. Shinsuke could have turned the title over to somebody. Damian Priest could have honestly turned the title over to somebody. And we wouldn't have had a heatless match on the pre-show that ended in the DQ, which is turned to be the only first win of the show for SmackDown, which was heatless and didn't mean nothing because it ended in a DQ. I'm so heavily disappointed. I shouldn't even say disappointed because I came into the show honestly with very low expectations. My excitement for the show was honestly 2 out of 10. Like, I really wasn't interested in the show, and there was only like one match that really got my eye because it was Charlotte versus Becky, and it was the only match that delivered on the show. Every other match was either great to trash at best. And that trash match is no disrespect to the women nor Bianca Belair. It's just trash because of the fact of the booking afterwards. I never felt this way towards a pay-per-view before. Not even towards Hell in a Cell 2019 because I liked the ending. The Crown Jewel 2020, I felt like it was a bounce back after WrestleMania 36 because Bray Wyatt bounced back. Nor TLC 2020, I just felt so deflated and so irritated. It's like they didn't care and there was no effort at all towards the second longest running pay-per-view in the history of the company. My opinion, Survivor Series should be the second biggest show of the year. It should be WrestleMania, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, then Money in the Bank. You should be putting a lot of effort into Survivor Series. Survivor Series should feel as important as WrestleMania because of the background that is involved with Survivor Series. A lot of key events have happened on the show. The Undertaker's debut. They ran The Rock's tribute for 25 years. He was debuted 25 years ago. The first ever, the Montreal Screwjob, the Elimination Chamber, Team Bischoff versus Team Stone Cold, Randy Orton breaking a pay-per-view record on the show that he's been synonymous with for years, since 2003. I just feel very much angry and in all honesty, this was the worst pay-per-view of the year. I know a lot of people are probably going to put Royal Rumble was good. I thought Elimination Chamber was good. Fastlane was great. WrestleMania Backlash. Hell in a Cell was alright. Extreme Rules was good in my eyes. SummerSlam was awesome. Money in the Bank was great. Crown Jewel is the second best pay-per-view of the year. This was the worst out of all. And WWE had no one to blame but themselves. They have no one to blame but themselves for this pay-per-view, for the booking, for the fans being so lack of energy throughout the show after the RK Bro versus Usos match. That's all I gotta say.